Shut up and sit down.
Hi and hello everyone, welcome back to Popping Culture Podcast, episode 63. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Jay.
And we're here to talk to you about comic books, movies, TV, beer, and an awesome launch event party that we apparently don't know how to make a calendar work, so we're not at. Yeah. But first, let's talk about what we're drinking, buddy.
Okay, cool. So this is Left Hand Brewing Company's Milk Stout Nitro. I was very much under the impression that we'd had this on the show prior, and Adrian informed we had not. So we're definitely having this today because it is delicious. It's milk stout. For whatever reason, we end up having a lot of milk stouts on this show, which I'm not complaining about. But this one is nitro brewed.
You're not supposed to pour it gently either.
Oh.
So it's funny enough, it says it on the bottle very specifically, pour hard. So see how I have that Guinness looking color and deviation? That's actually what you want.
Okay. Shoot.
So Jay,
pour it back in the bottle.
Yeah. Round two.
Yeah.
Jay actually brought this over, as you guys are familiar. We do UFC fights at my place. He came over. This is the beer he brought, and I believe I was very, very expressive when I tried it.
Oh yeah,
I really, really liked it. Yeah. So we had some left over. In fact, I had some friends over this afternoon. I'm a nerd in all aspects of things, including DC deck building. Oh, and nice. Their new expansion came out.
Okay.
So I had some people over, and we had some of this as well.
Thanks for the invite on that.
You were working.
What time? What time?
What time did we start?
Yeah.
1.
What time did you end?
Well, the game takes about 4 hours to play.
I could have joined midway.
We already lost as it was.
Okay, fair enough. So as I was trying to say, this is a nitro. For those of you who aren't familiar with the nitro process, most of your typical beer is brewed with a carbonated process. I always feel like I'm saying that wrong.
No, you're good.
It is.
You're right.
Which is why, like, when you drink a beer, it's got the bubbles and the carbonation, like a soda pop, whatever. When it's done nitro, they instead of using the carbonation process, they use a nitro-infused process. So it still has kind of the same consistency, but without all those bubbles that tend to give people problems. So you get a lot smoother flow over the palate and that sort of thing. It's very enjoyable. I'm just afraid at how mainstream it's becoming now.
Nitro?
Yeah.
It is now a thing. In fact, Guinness has released a sampler of their nitros and all this other stuff. This one, the reason I like it, let's look at the ingredients. Water, barley, lactose, because it is a milk stout.
Hell yeah.
Oats, hops, and yeast. That's it. I love it. No flavor infusion. A lot of places that do the milk stout nitro or the chocolate or the stout will add afternotes or add chocolate or add something to give it a different flavor. And I love that this is it. They did a fantastic job with this. So thumbs up, and I definitely recommend you guys.
I am totally still listening, just so you know, but I noticed that there's a QR code on the side of this.
Yes. Want to pour the perfect nitro pint? Scan this.
And I just happen to have a QR code reader, so I'm going to see what happens.
I'm sure you're all riveted by this. You have to touch it to focus.
Yeah, it's not working.
Oh, see? Technology's failed you once again.
I know. All right, never mind.
It was a good try.
I'll scan it at some point, and I'll tell you guys what it does.
But yeah, so definitely recommend this beer. Something I don't recommend is I had Schilling's hard cider. I don't know why. Cider is this huge thing right now. Like
it is, and I've had some really good ciders. I have not had very many good American ciders.
So Schilling's I've had before. I was at a event for small Seattle businesses about 3 years ago, and Schilling's was there when they first started.
Sure.
And they had all their stuff canned, and I tried it, and it was good. Cider has become this huge thing, so I'm like, maybe I'm missing out by not drinking cider. Like, maybe it's time to go back to the cider well.
Okay.
So for the UFC fight, I got their London Dry cider.
Which is your mistake right there. You got the dry cider.
I like dry cider.
Oh. Can't stand dry cider.
And it was fine. And then I got what they call the hopped cider.
Okay.
and it's cider that they then ferment with hops and yeast, like beer.
Sure.
It was bad.
Oh.
Like real bad.
Oh.
Like bad enough where it dawned on me, no, I'm not missing something by the cider revolution. It is below beer.
Which one did I try? Just the London Dry?
Just the London Dry.
Yeah. And one sip of that was more than enough for me. No, so there, like I said, there is some very good ciders out there. I will always go to a Magners, which I don't know if you're familiar with.
Yep.
Magners. Okay, so for those of you who aren't, Magners is actually Irish cider. If you go to Ireland, you order it as a Bulmers, but there's another brewery in London that has export rights for something called Bulmers, so they have to call. Anyways, that one's very good, but a lot of the ones that I've had are they're either too dry or way too sweet. I will not do an Angry Orchard because I'm drinking sugar water.
So that is what brings me to the point of why I'm going to continue to try all the Shillings lines that they have. And they actually have a brewery. Their brewery is in Seattle. So the growler fills are there. They also have a tap house in Auburn.
Okay.
The reason is, like Jay just mentioned, all the ones that you guys, I shouldn't say you guys, like I'm putting this on you.
You girls.
You
really?
specifically. No, not you, the one to the right. Yes, you. Is like Angry Orchard and so all these ones that are being grown popularity. If you notice, they don't list their ingredients. Like the beer I just listed. Because their ingredients include artificial flavors, high fructose corn syrup, like all those things.
Right.
The only thing in Shilling ciders, unless it specifically says this one we added hop and yeast to, is Washington pressed apples. That's it. Washington pressed apples. Which I think is really cool.
I'm curious now, we keep some Seattle cider in the fridge in the Seattle studio. The Seattle Cider Company.
Yeah, familiar.
I'm curious to see what their can says. I'll be down there Friday. I'll take a look.
Yeah, take a look. I almost bought some of theirs instead of the Shillings.
Might have been a better choice.
I enjoyed the London Dry. I know you didn't. It was good to me.
Okay.
But that is what it is.
Sure.
Let's talk about some TV, man.
Okay, cool.
What have you been watching?
What have I been watching? So Gotham's back. I've been watching Gotham.
Can you elaborate for me? Because I've quit the show.
No, I know you have.
And tell me about the freeze thing. Like, just fill me in on what I'm missing here.
Other than the fact that they said his name is Frice.
Right, and not even freeze.
Nope. And that was a discussion. How do you suppose you say his last name? Is it Freeze? Like, no, it's Frice.
But no, see, it's not.
I know.
It's not.
I know, and that drives me crazy.
It's spelt that way, but it's always been pronounced freeze.
Yeah. So no, it was good. That stayed pretty close to the normal storyline where it's that his wife is sick and he's trying to find a cure for her, but he doesn't think he's going to in time. So he's trying to find a way to freeze her.
Right.
But
or fries her.
Right. The problem is he hasn't been able to figure out a way to defrost the people that he's freezing, and he wants to find a good method for defrosting them without killing them, because obviously that's gonna not do well if he freezes his wife and can't unfreeze her. So she ends up he figures out the right formula to use in the gun, and he's gonna freeze her. She ends up, when he's not looking, switching the cartridges to one of the bad formulas.
She intentionally wants to die?
She doesn't want him to continue being obsessed with curing her to the point where it's driving him to being a criminal.
Okay.
She's like, if I'm not here anymore, he's not going to do anything else.
That is not how the criminal mind works.
No. So, and then you got Hugo Strange in there, who is running a medical facility at Arkham Asylum.
Right.
And so Mr. Freeze ends up freezing himself after he realizes that she's dead. He takes Freeze's body. Hugo Strange takes Freeze's body and figures out a way to just keep him in a sub-zero room, and he's alive and not for, I don't know, it's weird. But no, I'm still enjoying the show. Like, it's not, and this is what I've said the whole time, it's not a Batman show.
No.
It's not at all.
And the other thing, I've been seeing all the headlines, and I'll admit I've remained very ignorant about this, but I've been seeing the headlines, seeing people talk about Bruce Wayne knows who killed his parents and he's going after them.
In as much as Bruce Wayne has ever known who really killed his parents. He has a name.
Joe Chill?
No. I don't even remember what the name is now. but it was also a name that was given to him by the mayor who ended up being a villain, Theo Galavant.
Oh, the guy it turns out Azrael.
Yeah. So if you trust that information, then whatever.
Sure.
But yeah. So that's going. We're 2 episodes back into that from its break. I've been watching Supergirl, which I'm still really enjoying, and it got picked up for a 2nd season.
Season dos.
And the Flash crossover is coming up in like a week or 2.
Yeah, they released the movie poster. Well, I guess not movie poster, but the promotional image for it.
Yeah.
And for those of you watching who just saw that look on Jay's face, we just lost power momentarily.
Yeah, no, it was super. Everything flashed.
Yeah. It's raining and storming out really, really badly, so we have not lost power yet since we got this house, and I'm hoping we don't yet.
That's not a true story.
But it was very temporarily. It came right back.
But it happened like 3 times.
Oh, man.
During one fight.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Okay, so a couple of things I've been watching. The one we're going to talk about, you and I together, because I don't think you've watched the other ones, is Fuller House.
Okay.
So I finished season 1 of Fuller House.
Yes.
I decided to watch it not because of your glowing recommendation.
Well, no.
I decided to watch it because it's now coming under a lot of scrutiny.
Yes.
Because people are now saying it's not a family show and it's inappropriate and there is an inappropriately sexual woman on woman kiss and all these things that it's, needs to be more Christian and more family and it's not appropriate to show to children. And I watched it.
Don't let your children watch it then.
But here's the thing.
Yeah, that's not.
I agree.
That's not a conversation that we need to.
It can be because you know my view on it. Be a fucking parent.
Yeah.
If you don't want your children to watch it, don't watch it.
Right.
If they watch it, you tell them not to. No.
Put it on kids mode.
No, that's not how this works. Not even kids mode. How about instead of just giving your kid the controller and telling them to do whatever the fuck they want, maybe you parent. Maybe you don't let them watch whatever they want. Maybe you watch with them.
Yeah.
And if you're not there to supervise, they go play an activity. All right.
Yeah.
I am now getting down. Actually, spoiler alert. That's episode 1 of season 2 of Fuller House. I'm just showing up and ranting while looking at the middle child and oogling her. Anyways, the kiss was not sexual by any means that they're referring to.
I don't even remember the kiss. That's how much it didn't impact me.
It was. So, do you remember when, I can't believe all these words are going to come out of my mouth as I say this, when Kimmy's husband wrote the song for her and then he couldn't perform it, so Stephanie performed it, and then at the end of the lyrics, he was supposed to kiss her.
Right.
And she's like, I'm not doing that. He's like, you must perform the song. Yeah. She's like, I don't want to. She goes, perform the song. So then Kimmy grabs her and gives her a kiss.
Sure.
It was nothing.
It was such nothing that I literally didn't even remember it.
Yeah, but that is the controversial kiss. It is so blown out of proportion. But not seeing the show, I was like, okay, maybe there's more going on. And I finished it all. And now I'm just like, God damn it. Really? This is what you're all complaining about? This is a thing to you?
Right.
That is ridiculous. I've seen more inappropriate things on commercials for Maybelline than what I've been seeing on Fuller House.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a scene somewhere of Dora the Explorer kissing somebody else that, somebody didn't even freak out about.
Well, yeah, but that little fox character she hangs out with is a fucking whore and asking for it. It's barely wearing clothes, Jay.
No clue what the fuck you even just said because I've never seen that show.
I've only seen promotional images, and I think as I say it, it's actually a monkey character.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of whatever that commercial that's going around now where the people are trying to get to Antarctica.
Oh, the Geico commercial?
Yeah. And she's like, what took you so long?
My favorite is, we're really getting off topic. You ever seen the meme of the little, he's like a 3-year-old boy in a suit? He looks like a little mafia kid.
No.
So it's awesome. So it's just this little 3-year-old kid, black and white, in a tuxedo. And it's all just different memes. And one of them is Dora. Yeah, I'd explore that bitch.
Oh, no.
But just little cute little things like that.
Oh.
Another one was oh, you got my nose? I'll show you who's got a fucking nose. Just little. It's silly memes.
We're
it's fun.
Earning our NSFW tag this time.
Oh, I don't even think we get an explicit tag.
I kind of almost I want to figure out how to get one, but at the same time, I don't want to go through the effort.
Again, you know what? Kids, hi. It's your Uncle Adrian here and your pervert Uncle Jay.
Whoa. I mean,
Yeah, which one of us is bald with a beard?
What?
That's pedophilia 101, kids. Avoid men with bald and beard. Like Hugo Strange. Again, bad guy. What's his look? Bald and a beard.
I said he's Asian in the show.
Which is weird, right?
Anyways.
I'm getting off topic here. Hey, guys, if you're listening to this, don't tell your parents. Right. That's a bad idea. And parents, if you are suddenly aware your children are listening to us now, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're a shitty parent.
This is 63 episodes deep. Like, what the hell?
That's true. With that said, I now want a second beer on principle.
There we go. So you finished the whole season of Fuller House.
Finished the whole season.
Do you feel better about it than if... no?
Nope.
Okay.
Like, I got no desire to see season 2.
Okay.
The show... Don't get me wrong. I understand the nostalgia appeal for some people. I understand why it is very reminiscent of that era sitcoms as well. And I get why families might find that to be funny. Like, if it's a parent, they have an 8-10-year-old kid and they're watching, like, I get that. It is not for me.
So, if I had not watched the original Full House, and I saw an episode or two of this, I'd be like, it's all right.
Right. And I barely remember the original Full House.
The entire appeal of the first season to me was, like we've talked about, that nostalgia. Like, oh, you're making fun of all the things from back then. Mr. Woodchuck and the hair and all the catchphrases and all that. I'm not hopeful for season 2 because, like we talked about, the nostalgia factor, you burned it out.
Right, it's now out. Now you actually have to make a good show. And you and I have enjoyed family shows. Like, we both liked the first couple seasons of Melissa and Joey.
Right.
So there are family shows that we do enjoy. So it's definitely not the genre I'm looking opposed to. It's just this one.
Yeah.
Another show I've been watching, I saw the first episode we talked about, is Cooked.
Yeah.
Have you watched any of it yet?
I have not yet, but I have an extended period of time off coming up, and I'm going to be getting through it then.
That is true. You will be. So we talked about it before. It's the Netflix show where they kind of show you the meaning behind cooking, why people do it. The first episode is all about fire. So you follow a pit master in the Carolinas. You follow organic farmer who delivers the pigs. Okay. You also follow an Aborigine tribe in Australia. The tribe, to me, was the most interesting and also the most hard to watch.
Okay.
Because essentially, they now are living in a city. Monday through Friday, they live in a city, and they go grocery shopping, and they live like any other metropolitan people would. But on the weekends, they go back and live on the land as Aborigines, where they literally take a steel pole and hunt lizards. So they poke in holes until they know there's one in there, like prairie dogs dig hole.
Yeah.
They poke and they grab it out by the tail and they beat it to death, and then they cook it on an open fire, the whole lizard, and then they eat it, and it was very, very interesting to watch.
Is there ever a scene in there where they show up to the office on Monday morning, they've still got some of their face paint on, and they're eating a leftover lizard in the break room?
No, but that'd be really funny.
Right. Oh, shit, sorry, I forgot you guys don't do this.
But they don't want to lose touch with that fire. So
right.
they still go to their land, they still burn it, and they salt, like they do everything to continue life on that portion, how they live it, so they don't lose touch with it. And then the pit master, like, all it did was make me hungry for barbecue. Right. Like, that dude, I want to go so badly and see that man work. So the whole first one was about fire.
Okay.
And it was really good. I really quite enjoyed it. They do some scenes, as I mentioned, they talk about sustainability and animal treatment as well, because the pitmaster, he even mentioned, he cares about the treatment of the animals before they get to him.
Okay.
So he doesn't go to just buy them from anybody. In fact, there's a particular farmer who goes to the butcher and she raises them and takes care of the pigs, and then, it's all free range. And then of course they show what kill centers look like and bred in captivity, and every time you see it you're just like, oh god, like it hits you because it sucks. So that was Cooked, and I quite enjoyed it.
Okay.
The other one we started was 11/22/63,
and that's one that I'm definitely going to be watching also. I just haven't started it yet.
So we were a couple episodes in.
Okay.
I really do enjoy it.
Okay.
It was kind of a slow start for me. It is definitely one of those things where you're going into this show and you have to suspend all belief.
Okay.
Like if you have any logic, you can't. Because the whole thing...
I'd read comics. I think I'll be all right.
The way it works is James Franco goes to this diner, and he's been going there almost every day for like 10 years. And the owner is dying of cancer, and he tells James Franco, you need to go stop the assassination of JFK. And he explains why. Because if you stop the JFK assassination, there won't be a Vietnam, there won't be a Cold War. Like, he really breaks it all down, and here's why, and this is what it is. The way you time travel is you go into the closet, and you keep walking and walking and walking, and then poof, you're in 1960.
Okay.
To get back to regular time, you just kind of walk where you poofed into, and you show up in the closet.
Okay.
But it only works for you. The other way it works is no matter what day or time or anything you go into the closet, you show up. You show up exactly the exact same date, time in 1960. So I believe it's August 20th, 1960.
Okay.
No matter what, you show up at that exact same moment. And for no matter how long you're in there, 2 minutes have passed in the real world.
Okay. So that means to get to the date of the Kennedy assassination, you would have to go
3 years.
Through the closet and live there for 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's right.
And if at any point during that you come back...
Everything resets to the way...
you have to go back and... Oh.
And that's the other thing he was explaining. He goes, the moment you come back to our time, everything you did is 100% reset, as if it never happened. So not only do you have to go through the portal...
You're going to end up having to stay there.
You can never come back.
Shitty.
Right? So he instantly, as soon as he goes through, he fucks up. And I'm like, well, just reset, dude. You'd only miss 2 minutes of time.
Yeah.
You'll learn from it. And he doesn't. And he continually does dumb things. You're just like, well, that was stupid. Like, he decides to throw his iPhone into the river. And I'm like, well, why? That was dumb.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is, though, like, time doesn't want to be changed.
Right.
So time is trying to kill him to prevent him from doing things.
Okay.
So, like, where he had all of his notes and all the information about Oswald's connections and this and that, it was in a house that burnt down.
Of course.
And he almost got hit by several cars. And, like, all these things are continually trying to stop him from stopping the assassination.
Okay.
So, it's based off a Stephen King novel. So, you have to take everything with a grain of salt.
Right.
If you can shut out that, it's quite fun.
Okay. Cool.
That's it for TV for me. Any for you?
We watched a little bit more Degrassi. Oh, House of Cards.
House of Cards Season 4 is back.
I am 9 episodes into Season 4.
Already?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Because it's been around a week now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I may have sat down and watched like 6 episodes on Sunday.
I'm not judging.
No. This season is really good. I know you haven't watched it all.
None at all.
Or you haven't watched any of it. I do highly encourage you to.
I plan to.
And again, Season 2, you're going to be like, bleh. Season 3 gets better. Season 4 is really good. It has to do with a presidential election campaign.
Okay.
And it's funny because we're in such a time that we're going through like the caucuses and the primaries like that, and that's what's happening in the show too. So I'm like, oh hey, it kind of parallels it.
At one point in the show, do they time travel? If they don't time travel through the closet, I'm not interested in watching it.
No, it's in there. Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Then, okay. All right.
Somewhere between the first and last episode, it's in there.
Awesome.
But no, I definitely I am really enjoying the show, and it's one of those things where like you watch it and it's fiction, obviously, but you're like, well, fuck, that's probably what really happens in government. This is why nothing gets done.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Is there any satire involved? Like, is there a Trump-like character? Is there a Clinton character? Anything like that?
Not really. But one of the things I like about it is, so Kevin Spacey is the main character. He breaks the fourth wall quite a bit.
Okay.
Not Deadpool level, but enough to where he, like there'll be a scene where you're like, oh fuck, and he'll like turn to the camera and be like, yeah, that's right, I did that. Like just playing off how just conniving his character is, which is interesting. But no, there's not really like oh hey, that guy's an idiot.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's good. So
interesting.
I'm gonna watch a lot of that.
All right.
probably finish that Saturday.
You got some time. Speaking of time, I'll say this now before I forget. We will be taking next week off as I will be at a trade show.
So to clarify, we will not be sitting down together next week and recording an episode.
Correct.
I'm going to make an attempt to do individual episode or two.
I think we'll both try to make a shot of culture.
So that may be out there, and if you do not hear from us next week, that's why.
Yeah, please don't be surprised.
But is it? I'm not. Is it 1 week or is it 2 weeks that we're not doing?
I leave on Sunday. I come back the following Monday.
Okay.
So I'm only out 1 week.
I may not be able to do it the following.
As you guys are aware, Jay and I really produce and discuss these things ahead of time.
Yeah.
So you're not hearing the discussion for the first time. We're going to be out 1 week, maybe 2 weeks.
Maybe 2.
Worst case scenario, that second week I can come to you.
Well, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get there. Speaking of which, movies. Any movies?
I watched un movie.
Oh, which un movie did you watch?
Un Southpaw. I don't know how to say left-handed in Spanish.
That's fine.
So.
I think they just call it wrong. You're a wrong writer.
Fair enough. So I watched Southpaw. I watched it on Saturday to try to hype myself up for the UFC fight a little bit. I had a lot of high hopes going into this movie. It did not quite reach the threshold that I was hoping for, but it was still pretty high up there.
Okay.
I made a comment to you because I told you and the other gentleman that we watched.
You can call him Bobby.
Okay. I don't know if we...
Yeah, Bobby.
Sure, Bobby. I told you guys that I think where it did wrong for me is I've obviously seen the original Rocky 5 movies, whatever you call that, Quinogene.
Depends if you want to include Creed or Balboa into it, but sure, yeah, you watched the Rockies.
I consider that 1 through 5 because then they took a bunch of years off. And I feel like they tried to compress the emotions of like the first 4 movies into one. And that you have this fighter who is really big and then something happens and he gets knocked down a peg and he's trying to get his life back together.
Okay.
I think if this had been maybe 2 movies, I would have appreciated it more because I feel like they could have fleshed things out a little bit. But I feel like they kind of glossed over some of the struggle.
Interesting.
But it was still good.
Okay. It's actually a movie I have sitting, waiting for me, so I'm going to get around to that.
Oh, have you not seen it?
I've not seen it.
Oh, I thought you had.
No.
Okay. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on it then.
We'll talk about it next time we get together. What I did watch, I watched those movies.
Those telepictures?
Dos películas. Okay. The first one was Room.
Okay.
Academy Award winning Room. It was a good movie. There were parts of it I really appreciated, parts I didn't care for. The parts I appreciate for many different reasons. The premise of the movie Room, for those of you who are not familiar, which honestly, if you're not familiar with the movie Room, it's probably because you're living under a rock, which means you don't have the internet to get this anyways.
Or maybe they're in a room.
Oh, you done? Oh, snap! You done flip script, son.
I went there.
This just got meta. So Room is all about a girl who gets kidnapped and is forced to live in a room where she is then raped by her
captor.
Thank you. Has a child, and on his fourth or fifth birthday, decide it's time to get out.
Right.
He's now old enough where she thinks she can use him to facilitate the escape. Growing up, he thought the entire world was just Room.
Sure.
She never told him of anything outside of Room. That TV was all signals sent from space and like all this other crazy stuff.
So, did his father never come into the room?
The father did come into the room.
So, how did she explain when he left the room?
He was called Old Nick.
Okay.
And the kid was forced to go into the closet and have the door shut whenever he was there.
Okay.
Because, obviously he was going to rape the mother. So she explained that he came from one of the TV planets that all the TV stations were different planets, and that he came from one of the TV planets to bring them Sunday presents.
Okay.
Because they were allowed to ask for things, and he would deliver them on Sunday, like a new pair of jeans or stuff like that. So eventually, she uses the boy to get free. He does it successfully, and then they get out, and then it's all about now them trying to come to terms with coming back to the real world.
Okay.
And the boy not knowing that it's a real world out there.
Now, okay, so you said you liked this movie well enough.
I did.
This is going to be maybe an odd question, but it's something I've thought to myself when I've seen some of these critically acclaimed movies. Is it a movie that you really thought was good, or is it one that you're like, yeah, this is good because people are saying it's good and I'm agreeing with that?
I get what you're saying, and here's how I explain it. The movie was very well done.
Okay.
The acting was phenomenal. The story was based off a book, and I take the story here or less. It's a story we've all heard before. The reason they did it well is, one, I know this is kind of silly for me to say this as my one. I can't stand violent sexual scenes. Like, it is the reason I don't watch Game of Thrones anymore.
Sure.
There's certain movies I'm just like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you knew what was going on.
Without it being overly graphic.
They didn't even show it to you.
Good.
They alluded to it. They made it very clear, like in what she said in the interaction. They don't even show it to you, though, which I really appreciate. Because guess what? I can put two and two fucking together. You don't need to show me her crying and him, like, I don't need all that shit. What I thought was really good about it was once they got free of room, and I thought it was also very creative how she was able to keep sane in room. And I say that because Boy didn't use pronouns. Like, he didn't say the room, it was just room.
Yeah.
Ma, ball, eat, like that kind of obviously debilitated raising.
Yeah.
But like, she made him pretend to play track and field, so he'd have to run from wall to wall and like do push-ups and like things to keep him physically fit. And they watch TV, and she made him make toys, like they would save like eggshells and cut them in half, and they sewed them together with string and made a snake and all that kind of stuff. I thought was very creative to show what happened in room.
Yeah.
But that was interesting once they got free was how much more quickly the boy acclimated to the real world than she did.
Okay.
She had a hard time with it. She was upset with her parents for getting divorced. The dad didn't want to acknowledge the boy because he was the kid of the kidnapper, and all that kind of stuff was very well done.
Okay.
I enjoyed watching it in the same aspect that I enjoyed reading Uber. Do you remember the book Uber?
Oh, I remember the train wreck Uber.
Right. Do you remember, not to name drop, do you remember when I was talking to Kieran Gillen about it?
Yes, back when we talked to fun people.
So I interviewed the author of Uber, and I was talking to him about it, and I said to him, like, I want to say I enjoyed your book, but I didn't enjoy it, but I did.
Right.
And he was very understanding. He goes, oh, it's hard to say that you enjoyed the destruction of the powers by the Nazis.
Yeah.
I go, it is, but at the same time, I uncomfortably enjoyed it.
Right.
That has always kind of stuck with me, that definition of uncomfortably enjoyed it. That's the same way it was with Room. Like, I uncomfortably enjoyed it. I never need to watch it again, though.
Okay.
It doesn't have a replayability for me.
Sure. And I think you very well summed up what I was trying to say before. It's like the movie Precious.
Okay.
I'm not like, damn, I really want to watch Precious.
Right.
But I watched it and I understood why it was so well received.
And this was very well received. I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed Revenant, which I think was even more well received.
Okay.
Like, that movie was boring to me. This was not. The other movie I watched, which is totally on the opposite end of the spectrum, is Spy.
Yeah. It's along the
No.
It's not. There's people sitting in a room at one point?
Well, so obviously the way this movie starts out is Melissa McCarthy is being raped in a room.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking. This is the Gilmore Girls movie we're talking about?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So Melissa McCarthy is a CIA agent. However, she's not a field agent.
Right.
She stays in the desk while Jude Law is the agent. He's James Bond. He's out there being a badass, wearing a suit, sleeping with women. And the whole time, she's in his ear. And he's wearing contacts so she can see everything he sees. Right. Which just reminds me of the Grace in Hypnos.
Yeah.
So essentially, he gets killed on the job. And all the agent's information is released to the supervillain. So Melissa McCarthy's like, I am qualified field agent. I want to go in the field. They don't know my name. They don't know my face. And I want to avenge his death.
Right.
And then shenanigans take place.
Sure.
And it was a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Like, I thought I was going to watch it, chuckle a couple times, because I didn't like Bridesmaids.
Okay.
So I thought I was going to chuckle a couple times, roll my eyes, and be done with it. I was laughing. I quite enjoyed Spy.
Okay. I had the opposite reaction when I watched it.
Right.
The comedy was a little too Dumb and Dumber for my taste.
Oh, it's absolutely, if you watch the movie trailer and that didn't make you smile, the movie's not going to hit for you.
Which was me. I'm like, really, this is cool. She rode a moped into wet cement. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, I actually stopped watching halfway through.
Oh, no. I only laughed because the last half is when it got good.
So I left halfway through and then came back and saw the last 15 minutes.
So when did you leave?
I don't even remember. This was last September.
Okay. Were you there at the point? So she's tailing the supervillain.
Uh-huh.
And then she obviously gets caught.
Yes.
And then she tells the supervillain she's working for the dad.
Yep.
Okay. At that point is when things started to get funny for me.
Okay. That to me was where it actually got even worse.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Because I just thought it was funny the way she talks to her.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, okay. Anyways.
Yeah.
So, moving on.
Comic books.
You got some comic books.
I do. You don't.
No, I don't. I did read some.
Okay.
But,
so, we are now at the DC 50 mark. And no variant covers. I said no to all the variant covers. Batman Detective Comics 50. Batman Superman 30. Earth 2 Society 10. Green Lantern Corps Edge of Oblivion 3. Red Hood Arsenal 10. Superman Action Comics 50. The Haunted Mansion number 1. Mockingbird number 1. And G.I. Joe, Real American Hero number 226. Cobra Nation Part 1.
Oh, Haunted Mansion Disney. Okay.
Yeah, it's based on Disney Kingdom's The Haunted Mansion.
Okay, so I looked at my pull list for today, and guess how many titles were on there?
3.
Yes.
Bam.
Guess how many of those I actually went and bought?
None. Yeah.
I'll get them over the weekend or something like that, because there was none of the 3 of them was I very excited about, because it was Green Lantern Corps Edge of Oblivion, it was Spider-Man Deadpool,
Okay.
and Batman Robin Eternal.
So I'm curious. I guess both questions right. What is my prize? Oh my god! Are we gonna play the Newlywed Game? Because we would fucking clean. We'd clean
you get
up.
a no prize.
But we'd totally clean up.
I mean, we probably would.
Yeah.
I had somebody today ask me what a good whiskey to buy was, and I'm like, you know who else would laugh heartily at this question is Adrian.
Yes, I would. Yes, I would.
So instead, what I did, I was super behind on Sinestro.
Oh, okay.
Because I was missing an issue.
Oh, yeah, that would do it.
Yeah. And I didn't go get the issue. I found the issue. I read the issue. I still don't own the issue. But, so I had to catch up from 13 through 20.
Wow, that is quite the...
So I read 8 issues of Sinestro.
Okay.
And I forget, are you still reading Sinestro or did you drop off?
I'm still reading, but 2 behind.
Okay.
I know what's going on, though.
Yes.
So, spoil away.
So, I mean, I actually kind of forgot what was happening in Sinestro because it's been 8 months since I read. So it's this whole overarching... I can't remember their name now. The Pale... The Pale... Church of the Pale?
Yeah, something like that. The Pale Ones.
Pale, yeah. So it's this anti-religion, or whatever they call it.
Anti-emotion. They're anti-life.
Yeah.
They essentially have a hard-on for the anti-monitor.
Yeah, these people have gotten rid of all emotion, which is weird. But so Sinestro, the Sinestro Corps is kind of now taking the place of the Green Lantern Corps, who has disappeared because they're hanging out on the edge of oblivion. So Sinestro is trying to figure out how to combat this group. There's a lot of misleading covers.
Yes.
The Sinestro versus Lobo one was nothing. They didn't even, like, they were barely in the same space together. I was like, this is stupid. It's weird knowing that Lobo is an assassin for a group that is controlled by Sinestro, though.
Dude, Lobo will kill for anybody for money.
Yeah. So yeah, there's Sinestro makes his daughter, who was a Green Lantern, now a member of the Sinestro Corps.
Yes.
He knew that the Green Lanterns were all going to disappear, so he took away her green ring, gave her a yellow ring.
Which is super weird that he knew that.
Lysidrak.
Still.
Yeah, I know. Like, not even a heads up. Like,
I'm fine with him not...
Hey, fuck you guys, but just so you know.
No, I'm fine with that. Like, that's totally Sinestro. It's just... Lyssa's power seems to always be in flux, how much she does and doesn't know, and the details she knows and doesn't know.
So Sinestro ends up taking some of his group to Earth to meet with, of all people, Black Adam, which I thought was weird.
No.
Why?
They actually quite got along in Forever Evil.
Well, yeah, no. They got along. But he was not... Sinestro did not know that Black Adam had faced the Pale before.
Oh.
So just coincidentally, he shows up and says, hey, what would you do? And they're like, oh, well, actually, this is what I did if you want to go look. We find out that the head of the Church of Pale was a former Guardian of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. So that was weird. Whatever. But the part that I thought was kind of interesting is when Sinestro, the armada of the Pale show up at Earth to try to take it over or fight Sinestro or whatever the hell they're there for. And Sinestro's like, I need more Sinestro Corps members. So he unleashes a bunch of rings that fly down to Earth and start picking people to become part of the Sinestro Corps. Have you read that issue?
I have not.
Okay.
I'm now officially out.
You don't? You
nope.
Don't like it?
No, I mean out as in I don't know this part.
Okay. So it ends up just finding different heroes from, well, people from Earth that it thinks will be a good host for the Sinestro ring. People that have the ability to instill great fear.
Sure.
Which is interesting when you think about it the way they took it. Because some of the people that get it are Wonder Woman, Superman, Constantine, I believe, gets one, and a couple other people. But I'm like, it's mostly heroes. Deathstroke gets one.
Nice.
Harley Quinn gets one. Which
yeah.
Every issue of DC now. But I'm like, if you think about it, like, Superman, we always consider a hero. We're like, oh yeah, he's like the prime hero, whatever. But to a normal citizen who like starts thinking about, this guy can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Or think of all the criminals that are super afraid of him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he can instill great fear.
So that was interesting. So now you've got all these other DC characters, and they've done this with Green Lantern before, where other heroes get Green Lantern rings. So now you've got all these guys fighting back against the
Pale Army.
The Pale Army. And in the end, we don't quite see what happens to Sinestro, but he tells Soranik, his daughter, like, I need you to do something for me. And what comes out of that is she is now the leader of the Sinestro.
Right, she's now in charge.
So that'll be interesting. That's how issue 20 ended. I feel like I essentially just read a trade and a half. But Cullen Bunn's still telling an alright story. It's going away after...
Right, after Rebirth.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it is better than Green Lantern proper.
Yeah.
So...
and Blonde's colors are still really, really good. I don't know if you pay attention to the colors in your comics very often, but there was one issue, like issue 15, that she did not color, and I could tell the difference.
No, the art in the book is great.
Yeah.
I quite enjoy visually, but it itself is fallen. It is kind of fallen off my top of the reader list.
Right. Yeah.
But I prefer to read my books in trade, but I prefer collecting in single issue. So it's not uncommon for me to hold books. So like I said, this is G.I. Joe issue 226, Cobra Nation Part 1.
Yeah.
I did not read the prelude, which is Cobra War, which is a 12-issue series.
Okay.
Because I wanted it to finish, I will sit down in one big setting and read it. I prefer collecting single issue, but I kind of enjoy reading trades for some things.
Sure.
Like stuff like Superman and that kind of stuff, I got to read when it comes out.
Yeah. So that's what I read. What did you read that you want to talk about?
I actually want to talk about the Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
So I got the Scotty Young variant cover, because Marvel can't release a cover without Scotty Young doing it. No. So, for those of you who don't know what the Disney Kingdom series is,
that's me.
It's exactly what it sounds like. It's the Disney Kingdoms. They write a different story about the different rides. So they've done Big Thunder Railroad, Figment, Seekers of the Weird, which was before. So Walt Disney was going to make two different rides, either Seekers of the Weird or the Haunted Mansion.
Yes.
He made Haunted Mansions. They did Seekers of the Weird, and now the Haunted Mansion comic starts. This was issue 1, and they're just a lot of fun.
Okay.
Like, I would love to tell you that the story in it is just, it's amazing. It's going to change your life. And no, it's not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It is just kind of some silly, fun comics. Always good art. Always slightly cartoony, but still quality.
Yeah.
Always funny. Zub wrote the majority of them.
Okay.
And he's actually coming back for Figment 2. So the Haunted Mansion, I apologize, I don't remember who wrote it. Joshua Williamson. So, whoever that is.
I feel like I've seen the name before, but I couldn't place the fight.
Oh, I'm sure. So the whole premise is this boy and his grandpa start off talking about the mansion. And the grandpa was like, "Oh, you need to go in one day and you need to look at it." And the boy's like, "I'm too afraid to do all this kind of stuff, Grandpa. I just can't do it." And the grandpa's like, one day you'll be able to." And the grandpa's a thrill seeker, and he then is off scaling this mountain, has an avalanche, and it kills him.
Oh, jeez.
So the mom now just dives herself into work and refuses to do anything. The dad stares blankly and just watches TV. They don't care about the kid anymore. And he's decided, and then he's just like, well, I don't know what to do. A ghost comes to him, and they're like, you need to go to the mansion. Your grandfather needs you. So he gets into his grandfather's trunk of, exploring gear, and he goes to the mansion. As soon as you see the mansion in the comic, it looks just like the Disneyland ride.
Okay.
Even with the same sign in the front, the broken down, carriage in the front. When he enters, it's the same room you enter in on the ride. And in the ride, when you first go in, you go in an elevator that doesn't actually move, but it looks like it moves. And he talks about that. And you go in the long hallway where the paintings kind of come to life. And so he's going through all that, and then he's going into the rooms, the other rooms you go into as the ride begins. So in that aspect, and it's just like all the other books, it's a lot of fun. But the story behind it, even though you're like, well, I can see where this is going, still, it's fun. The writing is very lighthearted. It's something that you're going to read and be like, wow, this took me a while. This was so deep. It was quick read and you're done. But it's a quick, fun read.
Okay.
And every now and then, I kind of want that from some of my comic books. Where I'm just like, no, I want something I can read in 5 minutes and just be like, man, that was a lot of fun. Moving on.
Sure.
And I get that from my Pathfinder comics. There's nothing about those that takes any brain power. They're just fun. And the Disney Kingdoms is another one of those books that I read for that reason.
Awesome.
So that is my comic book for the week.
Fantastic.
That's it for us. It'll be a week or two before we're back with you for episode 64. Jay and I will both try to do a shot of culture, and we'll take it from there.
All right, sounds good.
Have a nice week.
You too.